All right, Roland starts us off with a fetch. Roland on the right with Grixis Delver, and making their 90s MTG debut on the left is Mario with Death Shadow. We've been talking a lot in recent weeks about the legacy ban list and what does it mean, where are we in the world, whatever. And some legacy folks trying to find their way. But we've been seeing lots of new faces at the weeklies. We've been getting 30-something players at FNM, and the New York City legacy community continues to grow. And Mario, a new face that at the legacy weeklies that we're now getting to see on stream for the first time. So Delver does not flip. Golem Gamer says, let's go Shadow, playing in Baltimore, need more gameplay. There we go. And Knight Zhao says, first time catching live stream. Hello from the UK. Welcome. Glad you're here. This is the real show after all. And for anybody new around here, we do have a YouTube channel, and it is a gigantic library of legacy matches for your enjoyment. All right, so a Fatal Push takes out the Delver with the floating mana. Wasteland killed that Watery Grave. How many inhabitants in NYC? I think the last time I checked, it's like 9 million people in the New York City metro area. Can anybody Google that and tell us? All right, basic Swamp. That's protected from Wasteland. And a Troll getting exiled to evoke Grief. Okay, Grief will resolve. Force of Will, Brazen Borrower, Misty Rainforest, and Double Volk. Brazen Borrower will be selected. It is in the trash. Reanimate Grief. Take Force. Roland's hand is cleaned out. 3 lands left. That was a good draw. All right, Bolt takes out Grief. Past the turn. Two cards left in hand. Both of them are lands. All right, Sink It to Stupor being played as a land. Soporific Springs is the reverse side.
Yeah, I mean, it can't do anything.
Tameo.
Ponder? Sure.
All right, so Tameo, Inquisitive Student from MH3, seeing a lot of play in Legacy these days. A Ponder for Roland. Left them there, draws a card. Dragon's Rage Channeler. I believe Delirium is on. Yep.
Yep.
So Tameo doesn't have a great attack at the moment unless Mario really wants this clue real bad. But this is the second card drawn this turn off this Ponder. And Tameo flips after 3. Flips into a Planeswalker. Mario trying to figure out this Ponder. Maybe looking for a land drop to fire off another cantrip.
Sorry. I know you figured it out.
That is a Polluted Delta, for anyone who doesn't recognize the new ones from MH3. Thinking about what to do. Can attack, make a clue, sack it. One card in hand. I believe it's a Misty Rainforest for Roland now.
Correct. Yeah, so it's block my 03. All right.
Delirium is on.
That's it.
Ponder, Serval. Underground Sea into the yard. You can look at the top three.
Got 4. 3.
This Dragon's Rage Channeler will have to attack. So maybe holding back Tamio and being patient here will benefit Mario. The a check for 2 cards in hand for Mario, I believe. All right, there's that Misty Rainforest. It's getting cracked finally.
Force pitch of force. 14. Brainstorm Surveil trigger.
Brainstorm Surveil. Daze into the yard. Makes sense. Violent Outburst is back when I started. We had Trample, Forest Walk, Banding, etc. Yeah, the good old days. Back when I told people I played Magic the Gathering and they had no idea what I was talking about. Swinging with DRC. That'll put Mario down to 7. This is a Death Shadow deck, so they do tend to like their life total getting lowered, but not that low. All right, so not too low. Bolt took out Tamio, their Inquisitive Scholar. We're fetching here. I think this is in main phase.
And that's the only ley line.
Finds an Underground Sea.
No cards. Yeah, no cards.
No cards in hand. Murktide. It will be a 6/6 Murktide and pass the turn. So a big play there for Mario. Roland was hellbent, so it was safe to cast it. DRC will effectively kill itself. Delver of Secrets. It got too angry. Delver of Secrets. Yeah, Audrey calling for taking out the spreadsheets. Yeah, there's a Murktide on the table, so we're going to add this to the Murktide column in the end one way or another. We're all keeping spreadsheets, right? Everybody watching, you have a spreadsheet? Yeah.
Down to 7. Yep.
Reanimate on your Delver.
Reanimate Delver.
All right. Reanimating Delver. High Train Conductor Roland says, what's the spreadsheet for? Roland, you know what? If you have to ask, I don't think you want to know. I don't. Roland is immune to the spreadsheets at this point. All right, so Force of Will revealed. Delver of Secrets will flip.
I was like, well, what am I doing? Yeah.
Pass the turn. Murktide is on defense. Delver trigger. Force of Will revealed. Not too bad. This is going to be a tight game. Murktide swinging. Roland drops to 12. Insectile Aberration on defense. Knowing now that Mario has a Force of Will, this Murktide could potentially be protected. All right, here's a Dragon's Rage Channeler. Delirium is still on, so that'll have to be a consideration. Does Mario attack you with a 6/6 Murktide? No. Got to hang back on defense. I think I agree with that decision. Mark Hughes in the chat says can't get into bolt range. Yeah. That is a consideration. All right, so Dragon's Rage Channel has to attack. Insect Celebration will join it, which makes sense. Murktide will block DRC and offering a trade of these Insect Elaborations. Mario protecting the life total. Bolt range is a concern.
Oh yeah. So used to it.
Okay, we're effects before damage. Lightning Bolt Murktide. Surveil. Gives Mario an opportunity to respond after the Surveil. Pitching a Daze to Force.
Trade. Pretty good. And I'm done after that.
I'm missing. How did Murktide grow just now? I missed that. Okay, swinging for 7 somehow?
How did it go?
Exiled days. So whenever a card gets exiled as well.
I don't think from your graveyard then.
Is it? Oh, then no, it's only 6. I'm sorry.
Leaves your graveyard.
Yeah, alright, so just 6.
Okay. So Murktide corrected. Roland correctly. Oh, that was a good draw. Unholy Heat takes out the Murktide. So now Murktide dies. Okay, finds a Brainstorm on top. That Unholy Heat was pretty damn good. Niels, thank you for the resub. 20 months. Appreciate that. And Leaf, thank you for the resub. 8 months. Thank you. Here's a Death Shadow, and that ends the game. Mario gets game 1.
Can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, a little bit of goof with the Murktide towards the end of the previous game, but it was corrected, so no harm done. Roland has mulled to 6. We are ready to go for game 2. And we are Polluted Delta cracking.
Grab a vault. The DRC.
And Dragon's Rage Channeler past the turn. These Death Shadow versus Grixis Delver matches can feel kind of mirror-ish. They obviously share a lot of cards. Brainstorm, Ponder, Force of Will, Daze, Wasteland, all that stuff. The lowering your own life total game gets a little bit interesting with Lightning Bolt. As we saw in Game 1. Mario won Game 1, but Lightning Bolt was a concern throughout a lot of it. Murktide also in both decks. So using a lot of the same tools. The black just kill your creature spells for Shadow tend to be pretty damn good. The Grixis decks tend to have access to Pyroblast. Mario could potentially have Hydroblast. What else is worth pointing out? I think everybody gets the idea. Death Shadow can be hard to kill.
And I will pass it over to you.
End step. Pay for life.
Okay, here's Pay for Life. Dismember targeting Dragon's Rage Channeler. GG says, has Jeskai control with Earlingus fallen out of the meta? I would say it's still around. There are some people trying to figure out an energy control deck similar to the one that we've been seeing in Modern. And there's also just like the Jeskai with 4th Earlingus running around, Beanstalk decks with 4th Earlingus running around, 4 or 5 color. It's still around.
Cards in 4 or 5.
I've seen some 4th Earlinguses get fired off in recent events for sure. It's not over for 4th Earlingus just yet. Comet Stellar Pup, sadly. Not seeing that card so much anymore. All right, cracking a Flooded Strand. Roland drops to 18. The other kind of funky thing that these Death Shadow decks can do is the Grief Scam thing, which we saw early on in that game. And the Cycle Troll Reanimate stuff. Those are just powerful plays, as all of you were aware. Grixis Delver doesn't really have access to that. Looks like a Brazen Borrower is in Mario's hand. That could help later on. Unholy Heat and Rollins.
Big sideboard.
Okay, Grafdigger's Cage. That kind of answers what I was just talking about, the reanimate stuff.
I'm sorry?
Is there one more show and tell? Or not?
No, there's 2, because there was one at the bottom.
Oh.
Show and tell. Oh, God. You hear that in the background?
$13, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, I only have 1 fish. It should be 14.
And once 14.
Okay, life total check appears to be correct. Petty theft on Grafdigger's Cage. Uh-oh. Brainstorm in response. Mario may be trying to set up a nasty play here. By sending Brazen Borrower on an adventure, we could see a reanimation of Troll or something. Roland resolving a Brainstorm in response, maybe looking for a daze. Maybe looking for hope. Maybe looking for a new deck. I don't know. All right, Grafdigger's Cage, is bounce. Brazen Borrower is on an adventure. All right, cycling the Troll. I'm going to find an Underground Sea by Swamp Cycling. Pretty good. Going to play that Underground Sea and then reanimate targeting the Troll. Surgical. All right, so Roland had an answer for it. The hand is revealed. Looks like Undercity Sewer, Brazen Borrower, and 2... Are those Polluted Deltas or Watery Graves? I can't really tell. And now the Troll of Khazad-dûms will be gone.
It's still on the stack.
Still on the stack, okay.
Well, that was a pretty good surgical. Kind of ruined Mario's whole plan. It doesn't look like the plan has much else going on now. Okay, so it looks like the cards in hand are actually Undercity Sewer, Watery Grave, Polluted Delta, and Brazen Borrower.
So if you have nothing, then just go to
3 lands, Brazen Borrower. Not a very good hand. Is it a Sewer and 2 Deltas? I don't believe so. It's probably larger on my screen than... I mean, smaller on my screen than some of you watching at home, but I think the second to bottom land card is a Watery Grave. All right, so Roland cracking a Misty Rainforest here. Make another Volk. Knows the coast is clear to some extent. What do we got?
That is so sick.
Murktide not the most exciting right now, unless that petty theft can be countered. Delver. Counterbalance. Okay. With Counterbalance, you can kind of just go fishing and catch some stuff over the course of a game. All right, Surveil puts another Watery Grave into the graveyard, it looks like. Polluted Delta revealed, Delver will flip. Roland takes the card about 30% out of the sleeve. Very interesting. There is a Brazen Borrower on an adventure and a Petty Theft Brazen Borrower in hand. So Insectile Aberration might not last for too long. We'll see. Ponder resolves. Okay. This creates a tricky situation with Counterbalance. Roland will know the top card of the deck. It's possible Mario should have responded to that Ponder. But there's also Brainstorm. I guess it's not that important. All right. Ponder resolves. Leave the cards on top. It's possible a 2 or a 3 is on top of the deck.
Pass.
Okay. Attacking with Insectile Aberration. What's the plan? Cast Brazen Borrower.
We're gonna let it resolve before it blocks.
Brazen Borrower is going to resolve, and before blocks, looks like the Unholy Heat. So Brazen Borrower is gone. Insectile Aberration will get through. And Grafdigger's Cage redeployed.
I will pass. Yep.
Roland might have been saved there by that surgical extraction early on in this game. A Troll of Khazad-dûm on the board would have made for a quick finish, it seems. It's possible. Thinking about what land to drop now. It'll be Watery Grave tapped, so I was right about that being a Watery Grave. 2 unknown cards, Brazen Borrower and Polluted Delta left in hand. All right, swinging with Insectile Aberration. Petty Theft on Counterbalance. All right, that will resolve. Now Fatal Push. Okay, I like this sequence here. Insectile Aberration down. Pew Pew says Counterbalance and Cage. Is this Grixis Prison? It could be. Maybe we'll update the overlays. I don't know. Is it tempo? All right, Grixis, rather, Murktide is on the stack here. Let's see how big this thing is. Okay, 5/5 Murktide. It's in. Dragon's Rage Channeler. It's in. All right. Pretty good turn for Roland. Roland, I think, has the advantage on the current board. Okay, I'm not really sure what's happening here. Is this a Murktide getting cast?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Murktide for 3.
Okay, it is a Murktide. Forgot to flip the face up. 6/6 Murktide. So a larger Murktide on Mario's side. A polluted Delta gets played as a land for turn. Does Roland have Delirium? I believe the answer is yes. I see creature, instant, sorcery, land. So that complicates things a bit. Mario's at 11. Counterbalance is back in hand, we know about. That was a pretty damn good pass turn sequence for Mario. Managed to get that counterbalance out of the way, eliminate the insectile aberration. Roland did drop a Murktide, but okay, so another Murktide for Roland. It could shut off Delirium and grow the already existing Murktide larger than Mario's. Let's see how this goes. Thinking about how big to make this Murktide and the one already existing on the board, which is currently a 5/5. It's a little bit of a tough call, I guess, working on keeping Delirium, if that's the plan. Okay, so it looks like we're going to grow it by 1. Oh, was I wrong? The current Murktide on the table was a 6/6? It's possible Twitch chat was able to see the die better than me. Well, that changes everything then. The Murktide that was already on the board was already a 6/6. I didn't see that. So now it's a 7/7 larger than Mario's. My camera shut off for a moment. It keeps overheating. It's quite hot in here. Okay, so 7/7 Murktide attacking. Brazen Borrower gets flashed in. Damage came through. Ponder from Mario. He needs a little help. It's possible Roland, Mario finds some removal and starts picking off some Murktides on Roland's side. It's really going to be the only way, given the current board, I think. It's like an unlicensed hearse. I'm not sure what that does now. Okay.
Yeah, it's a license.
Okay, then you're going to try to attempt to daze holding priority the unlicensed hearse. Pay for it, put daze into the graveyard, and then I think the plan is to use hearse to grow this Murktide. There are 2 instants of sorceries in Mario's yard right now. So passing the turn to Roland. He's aware of the capability of the hearse. Counterbalance. Trigger Surveil. Murktide on Mario's side currently a 6/6. The 2 on Roland's side are 7/7 and 4/4. No delirium.
One card.
Yeah, the 1 card in hand is the Undercity Sewer. Okay, Roland's going to swing with everybody.
More damage.
Okay, making the play that we predicted, growing the Murktide, killing Roland's biggest Murktide, and a bolt ends the game. All right, so Roland takes game 2. All right, Mario is on the play. Both players kept 7. Polluted Delta pass. Roland will fetch a Polluted Delta.
Play a DRC followed by a passing the priority.
That's priority? Yeah.
DRC.
I think Roland said I passed priority after a DRC, so that is it. Oh no, we're Mishra's Ball. Okay. Surveil.
Check out what you got.
Okay, taking a look at the top card of the deck. It is a basic swamp.
I will pass the turn on you.
Okay, we're likely going to see an Undercity Sewer here off the fetch. Roland will then resolve a Bauble trigger on upkeep and draw a card. Sometimes you'll see these Surveil lands hit a creature, put it into the yard, and it gets immediately reanimated. Pretty powerful. Okay, the land is the card is left on top, it seems. Okay, Wasteland, pass the turn, allowing the Volk to survive. Okay, Misty Rainforest for Roland. Brainstorm Surveil. Bowmaster. Uh-oh.
So is this happening before the survey?
Before the survey.
Before the Surveil.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, 1 damage there.
Ouch, huge Bowmaster. And going to be a huge Orc army as well. Big play there. 4/4 Orc army now. After the Brainstorm resolves, a little bit out of order, but that will be the end result. The Orcish Bowmaster numbers have subsided quite a bit in Legacy since the MH3 set dropped. But it's still around, and you still have to watch out for it. Roland maybe hoping he was in the clear there, but Bowmaster was available. Maybe there was an indicator that there was a Bowmaster when the Wasteland wasn't fired off. I don't know. We can go back and reanalyze that whole situation and come up with all kinds of you should have seen it coming thoughts, I guess, now that we saw it happen. All right, Mishra's Bauble. And the draw off Bauble will result in a ping. If it is sacked.
It will trigger.
It won't. Because it's
It draws, except the first one they
except because
draw.
that'll be the first card you draw for the turn. You can add the judge.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think you take one.
Triggers as long as outside of your draw step.
Yeah.
Oh, it's triggers outside of your
Outside my draw
Oh,
step.
okay, gotcha.
Okay, just clarifying the Bowmaster and Bauble situation.
My turn. I haven't played in 5 years.
It's okay. New card.
There would be a ping off Bowmaster if Mishra's Bauble is correct, no matter the timing. Bowmaster only doesn't ping during your regular draw, during your draw step. Hi, Train Conductor Roland in the chat says, I felt like a donkey playing right into that. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. We've all been there, Roland. Yeah, Venetia is pointing out that Frog has replaced Bowmaster in a lot of decks. I mean, it's totally reasonable, especially if the, the Brainstorm was really necessary to fire off there, that you were probably going to be in the clear. But maybe you go back and rewind the tape and be like, oh, but my opponent played a Wasteland, didn't waste me past the turn. Maybe they made it obvious they had a Bowmaster, blah, 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 whatever. And I don't think Mario showed Bowmaster in either game 1 or 2, so...
Is it good?
That's a good card. Draw near your upkeep.
Okay, the Mishra's Bauble was sacked. 5/5 Orc Army now. Pretty big. It's totally reasonable in that situation to not be expecting Bowmaster, though, potentially. Or trying to sneak a Brainstorm in. All right, so Wasteland hits the Volk. Attack for 6. Roland's going to get hit hard here by this Orc Army. Unlicensed Hearse, that's pretty good. Unlicensed Hearse, pretty good against Delver and similar decks because lowering the graveyard count can affect Delirium and Murktide. I am wearing my Foil Bug shirt. I just saw it flash up on the screen. Shout out to Roland and Foil Bug. All right, so Pyroblast and Brainstorm are exiled with the Hearse. Yeah, take it off if it gets too hot. Yeah. It's hot. All right, passing the turn. 6 power on the board for Mario and in a vehicle that is currently a 2/2. Attack it for 6. Yeah, a lot of the blue-black tempo decks, including Shadow, have switched over to the Frog in some number. Frog is making the cut. Shout out to Psychotog. All right, a Bowmaster. A little bit of Bowmaster, your Bowmaster action, maybe. Does Mario have a response to that? We are on the edges of our seats. Floating a blue and daze. Looks like Roland has a force of will. I think I saw one. Okay, firing off a force of will on this daze. Pitching.
Pitching.
Okay, force pitching brainstorm on the daze. Daze is countered, it looks like. Bowmaster is in. It's going to shoot the Bowmaster. It's going to make an Orc army. Okay, the Orc army will die to the other Orc army.
The mana floating I brought right? I already said
I guess it's still combat, so you still have mana?
No, like once I let the dance block out, second main phase, I just try to go massive.
Okay, I'm not sure if that was done correctly. There was a mana floating, and there is a step after combat damage. The untap my attacker with Mazavith phase. But we have Flash and a Bowmaster. We have cast a Bowmaster, and it's getting dazed, unfortunately. Maybe a little bit of a logistical error there by Mario, but Bowmaster dazed. That could be huge for Roland. All right, Roland just needs to get this 5/5 Orc army off the board, and they're in decent shape. Unlicensed Hearse continues to grow, though, which is scary. Sometimes the Hearse just gets crewed and smacks you and the game ends. Okay, Ponder for Roland. Needs a way to beat this 5/5 Orc army. That's first order of business. Has a chump blocker for now. Roland seems to have caught a break being able to daze that Bowmaster. Proven T claiming they saw a petty theft in Roland's top 3. I did not see that. So as of right now, it's just a rumor. People are spreading rumors in the chat. Not confirmed. Okay, Delver is another chump blocker. One appears to be safe for now. 5/5 Orc army and a 4/4 unlicensed Hearse vehicle. Okay, it seems that I missed the audio of it, but time has been called. This appears to be turn 2 of extra turns, actually. So Delver will chump block. There's a die with the number 2 in the center of the table. It is turn 2 of extra turns. Unlicensed Hearse getting activated. Hitting Ponder and... Delver. Pass the turn. Turn 3. There was a Brazen Borrower on top. Grafdigger's Cage. Okay. End step Petty Theft. Ooh, is that game winning? Crew the Hearse. Attack for lethal. That is the match. Mario gets it. Can't ask for a better debut match on 90s MTG for a player. A great match. Mario gets it. GG's.